Rescue Op. Save the dinosaurs from an island that's about to explode. What could go wrong?
Return to Jurassic World 1 minute at a time. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And in this episode we're discussing minute 58 of Fallen Kingdom. Before we get to that, Dave, heading over to Jurassic-Pedia.com. I didn't even know these existed, but we've got a full bio here for Blue.
Yeah.
This is a massive, massive article done by Sickle Claw over at Jurassic-Pedia, and there's a lot here. Probably just sort of bringing this up now because of her situation on the operating table, needing that ball pulled out. We're going to see some baby Blue in the next couple of minutes as well on the video vlogs of Owen's. So just a bit of a refresh here on the whole Ibris project and pretty much Blue's history on and off screen.
Pretty much, yeah. We started doing character profiles for the dinosaurs, I think, back when JP Legacy was still around. So this was one of the ideas I came up with, not for this exact article. Well, sort of. I mean, I helped put together the list of what dinosaur characters we should start doing. But yeah, there was something that I want to say we started doing around maybe 2014-ish. But yeah, these character articles have clearly gotten very, very long.
Well, when she's had so much to do in the movies, Camp Cretaceous, all the sort of other material as well. It's and when we do have a new character come on screen across these movies, we normally go to their character bio and their IMDb. Well, yes, I did not realise that we've got Blue here, so maybe we're going to see a bit more of this going forward with some of the other animals as well. But
we've got ones, I think, for the Indominus, the individual, as well as the dinosaur, as well as the species. We've got one, I think, for the Indoraptor individual, as well as the species. I know that from the initial list, we had Rexy, the male T-Rex, the Lost World female T-Rex, the Jurassic Park 3 T-Rex, the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus, and I think we have some of these coming up in our minutes too. Some of these species. Oh no, it's for the animatronics. My bad. But yeah, we also have for the big one and her pack. I kind of lumped them all together for that article. I know we have one for the Worker Village pack, the Jurassic Park 3 pack, Friar Tuck, and Clare.
Nice.
Oh, and Elvis.
Elvis, Puppet
the Paris for Elvis.
Very nice. I again caught out reading lengthy article. It's I suppose looking too at this trilogy, Blue being a character in herself, we don't really get a lot of dinosaur characters. Now, really, when you look back at it too, you couldn't really say we got a lot of characterization out of the other dinosaurs in the first trilogy either, although Spinosaur we did. We got to spend a lot of time with the male T-Rex. We didn't spend a lot of time with the female. And the raptors, we didn't really get to see any individuality of the raptors on Sauna but until Jurassic Park 3, so it's a shame they haven't focused a lot more on the animals over the films and really give us some characterizations. We do see a bit of that in Dominion with the Therizinosaurus and that sort of showing some new stuff there, but yeah.
Oh, I love the Therizinosaurus. She's so grumpy.
And to her, that's a lazy Sunday.
Yeah.
Blue is alive.
Jesus, Claire.
You raised her, Owen. You spent years of your life working with her. You're just gonna let her die?
Well, yeah.
All right, Dave, we're going to get a minute 58.
Sure.
Minute 58 opens with Claire applying pressure to Blue and ends with a nervous hand reaching for a tyrannosaur. As we go into this, Zia tells the crew that she can't take the bullet out without a transfusion from another animal, and asks who knows how to find a vein. Finding a vein on a bigger animal, I don't think it'd be as hard as is what we're going to get here with Claire saying she's did a blood drive with Red Cross. It seems close enough, but
You also kind of have to wonder how much she actually was hands-on with that, because at all blood drives I've ever done, it was always the nurse, or they had a paramedic of some sort on hand to do the actual blood drawing.
I could see.
He would just let some random volunteer off the street say, "Yeah, okay, I'm going to shove this needle in your hand."
Yeah, I could see that more as carrying the blood samples or the vials, whatever you want to call it, but the receiver of the blood, taking that to the fridges or that sort of stuff, not the actual sticking the needle in.
Yeah. Or like the administrative work, because there's always somebody there at a desk taking down your name and details, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because I've previous life when we were on the farm, I've had to put IVs into cattle and that, and at least there you've got a vein or a bulge in the neck bigger than your thumb, so it's not real hard. The biggest thing Mum always said was just make sure you push it in, you're forceful with it, push it in and don't stuff around. And occasionally the animal might feel it and try and brush its head against you. It's not a tyrannosaur what they get in the next couple of minutes, but
the tyrannosaur, we see this, the skin is thick. When you're talking about an animal whose main defense against small little nibblers being the thickness of her hide.
Yes.
And I'm sure the same is true with Blue. I mean, these animals were built to kind of survive, and a random tree scratch or something's not going to really affect them. In fact, it might just scratch that itch she's been trying to get.
Well, we're going to come back to that later when we have the removal of the bullet, and they just use a standard scalpel. Maybe you can go around the scales or the harder bits of the skin, but I don't think a normal scalpel would cut it, especially when you're not using the original bullet hole as a entrance point. But we'll get to that in a couple of minutes' time. Claire moves out of the way, and Franklin is not happy about coming over here to hold on, apply pressure to this. And I was wondering why they wouldn't have got Owen to come and do this instead of Franklin, but obviously Owen's there, the head, consoling Blue, and he's soon to go away with Claire to find a donor.
Well, I mean, Blue's also pretty out of it, you know, and so he's just kind of there as a calming presence to kind of keep her out of it, because first of all, she's probably knocked out from the shock of blood loss with a mixture of whatever tranquilizers they have her on. And it would not be fun if she were to randomly snap out of that tranquilizer doze that she's in. And because that does happen. I mean, with animals, there's always the chance that you got the dosage wrong. These things fluctuate so much that they can just snap out of the out of that tranquilization that they're in, and then go immediately back into it. And if she were to wake up, suddenly kick, she's going to disembowel who's ever at the other end.
Even just swinging a head back, hitting, there's a lot of force there and weight.
Oh yeah.
We humans are pretty delicate when it comes to stuff like that.
She's going to slash you here. Maybe across the belly, spilling your intestines.
Yes. But pretty much as soon as Franklin applies pressure here, we get the blood squirt to the face. Not quite sure where this is, if he's popped a blood sac or something here, because you'd think if something's ruptured with putting pressure here, then there should be blood continuing to bleed everywhere, although we don't really see the wound itself. But it is a funny little joke. Franklin's out of his comfort spot, and now he's got blood on his face.
Something tastes coppery. I didn't get any in my mouth, did I?
Well, he does sort of freak out and asks Owen if it's in his mouth, and Owen holds back and just frowns, shaking his head, and tells Franklin he's good. I know I keep on getting confused with, I know in Alien, when the chest burster happens, the woman actress there was not informed about how much blood was going to spray everywhere. I think I've mentioned that on the show here before, but I keep on confusing that because I'm pretty sure there was something along the lines here of they knew what was supposed to happen, but not exactly how. Obviously, the dialogue was written. I don't think it's an ad lib that isn't in my mouth, but just the look on Owen's face, it looks very sudden and then very real that he's holding back here.
He did not expect that much.
I suppose too, you got to wonder how many times you'd have to have the prop makers and that have this rig set up to shoot this blood out.
It's they probably have something under the table where it's just a guy, with the Halloween mask where you have the blood pump in your hand hidden underneath the robe. It's probably something like that, and he just squeezes it real fast, and it pops out of a hose in the out of the wound.
Well, we do know there's animatronic or puppeteers under this bench, under this table, under this floor, operating this animatronic.
Exactly.
I just wonder. Franklin would have been told stand on this spot and don't move, but I wonder if they had any ability to aim, or if there's cuts where he's getting in the face, in the eyes, going straight past his head and missing completely, just because his head's not in that right location. Unfortunately, we didn't get a deleted scenes thing like that on the DVD, I don't believe. so maybe the first
bloopers
cut.
reel would have been fun.
Yes, yep. Well, you see it in all the marketing that when they do the little featurettes and that of Owen and that, Chris Pratt and that on stage, and they're having fun, they're enjoying what they're doing, jokes and everything else. So it's surely there's a lot more stuff there. It'd be great to see on film. Zia tells Claire all the animals should be sedated. Look for a carnivore with 2 fingers or 3 fingers, no more than 3. Do we know any carnivores on the fossil record that have more than 3 fingers? I think there is one that's got like a human hand, like a 5-digit hand.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the Carnotaurus has 4 or 5. I think 4, the Carnotaurus. But it's very vestigial. It's basically like it's the length of our forearm and 4 of our fingers sticking up, and that's it.
Yeah.
on this animal that's like 30 feet long.
Well, and that was going to be the other question. Yes, there's probably some on the fossil record, but then would there be any off Nublar on this boat? And I suppose, yes, Carnotaurus should be on this boat because we do see it at the end. Even though we've never seen it captured and we don't see it here, so it is probably a good thing they'd mention no more than 3. Because we don't really know. I suppose we've seen the baryonyx. It'd have 3, wouldn't it? Yeah,
the baryonyx would have pretty much everything on there has 3 except for the Tyrannosaurus and the Carnotaurus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that nails it down of which animal they need, because Zia stops for a moment here, and I thought it was because she sees Franklin's face, but it's not. Mm-hmm. She realises what animal they need the blood from, and puts her own bloody hand up to her and covers her mouth as she's thinking. And that's when we cut to the container on a truck as Owen and Claire open the rear doors, revealing that sleeping Tyrannosaur.
But thinking about it, would that even work? Like to transfuse blood from a kind of related animal into another animal? I mean, like that'd be like transfusing blood from a pig into a human. I mean, you can even transfer certain blood from a human into another human.
Well, yeah, there's certain blood types where it's a big no-no. Don't mix, don't cross the streams. It's a bit of a nitpick, but I suppose on the other term too is you've got an animal like the Tyrannosaur that's OG Nublar back, created so much longer ago when there was different. They were adding the frog to the DNA, for instance, and all that sort of thing, compared to what Wu's done with Blue's DNA now, some 20 years later. You'd have to wonder about that compatibility as well. But even just the different versions, we know different version numbers and that, where they'll doing different things with DNA. Obviously, it needs to happen for the movie, but. Yeah, don't know. It's convenient. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I mean, it works in the sense that Jurassic Park's Lego genetics rules work, you know? Like, you combine DNA from a frog and you combine DNA from T-Rex, add it together, and you get a T-Rex. I mean, yes, it kind of works if you don't really understand how genetics work on a deeper level, but it's a fictional movie.
Well, but then we're also going to get Wu stress out later because the transfusion happens and seemingly it ruins Blue's DNA or something, just not being able to replicate the DNA. You'd think at this point he'd have the Tyrannosaur DNA on file, so he'd be able to isolate that from Blue's DNA. But
You'd think he'd have like DNA samples of all of the animals on file, you know.
well,
That's kind of what I assumed they were taking from the cryo units at the end of Jurassic World.
but then, and we shouldn't be keep on going forward like this. We do get an argument between Mills and Wu later. It's the whole reason to have Blue now on that ship is not for the DNA, but the Indoraptor needs a mother.
Mm-hmm.
They need Blue's caring ability at this point in time to be a mother to the Indoraptor hatchling. So he must have.
True, but remember that the Ibis raptors have also been genetically predispositioned to take orders from a handler. That was kind of the whole point of needing Blue as well, that they need that genetic material because she is genetically predispositioned to take orders from Owen.
And just as I think back to that shot of Barry and Owen watching the Indominus communicate, and all the raptors just turn.
It's almost kind of like a dog, you know, in a way. You know, I mean, like if you try to tell a wolf to go fetch, it'll just growl at you. But if you throw a ball in front of, I mean, I did it with my dad today. We went for a walk, and there were what like road apples or whatever you call them sitting on the sidewalk, and I kicked one, and she chases it. I mean, she knows that this little green object is a ball. I mean, once she catches it and sniffs it, she realizes it's not a ball, but she kind of has that genetic predisposition to chase that little object that she sees run, or not run, but roll past her, you know?
Yeah, yep. Owen and Claire stand there in awe as flies buzz around the animal's head. Claire sighs, "You've got to be kidding me." And as the minute ends, we see a nervous hand shaking and extending itself towards the Tyrannosaur's snout. I do love the fly, the little detail of the flies there. Obviously, we don't have smell-o-vision. We're going to get Owen next minute complain about how much it stinks, that carnivore smell. But I do love here, even on this ship in the middle of the ocean, we still have flies chasing the Tyrannosaur.
Oh, I'm sure they were hitching the ride the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Looking at the novel briefly, pretty much we don't have. Are you aware of any deleted scenes? Because the novel cuts to Mills and Toby Jones going to have a look at the Indoraptor, and I'm pretty sure I've seen that on the screen, but it's not in this movie or this version of the movie anyway.
There was a deleted scene, but I don't know where it was, and it involved originally involved, and I can't remember if it got past animatic stage or if they actually did it, where we see the Indoraptor playing with a human skull, kind of Hamlet-esque, where it's got a skull in the palm of its claws, and is kind of looking at it like Hamlet looks at the skull of York, contemplating, as Masrani would say, contemplating its own existence.
Yeah, well, in the novelisation, there's a whole section where Mills and Toby Jones go down and have a look at it, and it's got a human skull that it throws at the bars as they approach, and Mills tells them that the animal actually destroyed the light fixture or the light globe in its enclosure, and got a technician to go in to fix it, and thus knowing that they need 3 doses of tranks and not 2 to knock it out, which may come into later what happens with Wheatley. Actually, probably put into what happens with Wheatley pretty well. But that's the technician's skull there that, he went into the cage to fix the light globe, and the Indominus was still awake. And Toby Jones pretty much evil grin on his face, telling Mills that we have to show this at the auction, which is why we get it come out. So it's a pretty important scene for what we get later in the film, but not in the movie at all.
No, I can't remember why they ended up cutting that one out. I would assume for time, because they had to cut a lot out. They cut out 45 minutes, I think, of the movie just to get it into the 2-hour time slot.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand why Spielberg is insistent, and I've said this before, why Spielberg is so insistent on having the movies confined to that 2-hour time slot.
Especially when you're having movies pushing 3 hours.
And people say that the biggest problem they've had with this movie is the pacing and the shift of tone, and I think that would have been helped a lot with that 45 minutes of additional movie that was cut out of here, you know?
It just lets scenes breathe a lot more, just feel more natural, just without all the quick cuts. Because there's a lot
of people expressed that with even just the added 15 minutes into Dominion.
Yeah, because there's a lot of scenes, especially on an island, that it just seems like there's 10-15 seconds either side of scenes that have just been cut. They've been cut back that tight to bring the runtime down, and it's noticeable. But that is it for minute 58. Dave, how about we get out of here for the week?
All right, sounds good.